Yeah, they do think it, they just don't think.
Thought but not said.
Yeah.
Anything else, like anything like stick out to you, or like maybe the font or the color or something that like grabs your attention? 6.
I trying to figure out why they have like ABC consolidated, like, I'm guessing they're trying to make us like, for ABCs, like you remember those, I guess, so maybe they're trying to make us remember that this staff is associated with remembering, but I know I thought that was interesting, it caught my eye right away.
5, going off ABC, I feel like they're trying to say like it's easy as ABCs, like it's easy to be in control, like it's not that hard to drink as much.
Any other thoughts? Is there something that you don't like about this particular flyer? Is there something that's like, it's overdone, or I don't really like that part of it, they could have done it better?
Number 10, I think that they had like 2 different versions of it, like, 'cause this one obviously shows a female, but then I think showing a male too would also be more effective.
Together, or like a separate?
Just like separate ones, cause like maybe there is another one with a male, but I think definitely if they had like both in context there, that would be good, cause then you'd be just like targeting both.
You could even do 2, 7, sorry, 2 different ones of like one with her being in control and one with not, but just like kind of see the difference between the attractiveness of it.
Is this true for you guys, like if you see somebody at a bar like that's more controlled or more like sloppy, is that true for you guys, the statement?
Yes, this is definitely true. It's rare that you can hold like a decent conversation with someone when you're out at a certain point in time of the night, like when everyone else is like slaying. You can, there's not very many people you could actually have a conversation with and who has it under control.
Good stuff. We have one of our group members that always has a story she's gonna share, and then we're gonna kind of see like reactions to that and see how it affects.
I go to Ball State, I'm a student here. That's actually my sister, and these are her 2 kids. We're one of 9 siblings. 2 years ago, she was in an accident where she died. Her and 3 other friends actually died due to drinking and driving. The driver actually didn't die. They were partying after they all got into the nursing program at IUPUI, and they went out to celebrate, and they trusted their friend. They trusted that she wasn't drunk as they were, but she was just as intoxicated. And they were playing on the highway, going 90 on the highway, and they lost control. They ran into a 3-way stop and flipped into a building where 2 of her friends and her were ejected from the car. You know, that shows me a lot about drinking and driving, and that has impacted our family and my friends. You just gotta be careful and not trust that your friend is not as drunk as you are. If you guys are, drunk, you need to at least walk home or call a taxi or something. So that's her story. Her kids were separated because of the incident. And so the little boy, they were at that age at that time too. So he doesn't know who his mother is, and the little girl, she's still wondering like who her family really is. So that's just what the impact of drinking and driving does to a family. So that's that.
So what like phrase, idea, sentence, or if anything, like kind of stuck out to you guys about that, about the story?
10. I think for me the biggest thing is how it affected her sister's kids. Just like this, obviously there's the immediate effect, but then the after effects that continue to follow even after the decision was made.
Anybody else? Did it have an impact on you guys at all, like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also thought about the part where she said they trusted the friend that was driving, and they thought she was like capable, and even know that there's the same amount of like drunk. That makes you kind of think, because there's always sometimes that person that's like, oh look, I'm fine, like I can drive, but like really you should, like what she said, just call a taxi or walk home. Maybe that's much.
11.
Yeah, I think if you're going to agree to be in that role for a night, then you need to like, take responsibility. And if you have a moment of weakness and decide you don't want to be in that role anymore, then you should at least admit to them that I can no longer drive you anywhere, kind of thing.
Do you guys find like when you go out with a group of friends and you guys designate somebody to drive, or like when you're at the bar, does somebody usually be like, oh, I'm sober enough to drive, and then you guys trust them with it? Or do you guys kind of like do some type of test to make sure they're okay to drive, or just say, are you sure, and then give them the keys?
If we're not sure, I'm just taking the keys. Like I've had friends that say like, oh, I'm fine to drive, but like I saw them all night, so I just took it and hit it, so they kind of like.
5. I feel like me and my friends know that we would never be able to drive, so driving is never an option. So we're either walking or staying where we're at, so like driving's never a factor when we're at.
Or someone usually like can take responsibility and say like, I can sit this one out, or I'll have one drink and then that's that. So I think someone should take responsibility.
Do you guys find that you're more likely to like walk to places when you go out, or do you guys usually drive or catch a ride with somebody? What's your guys' usual mode of transportation? Walk. Is that general consensus? You usually walk places? So here's the next one. I'll take a minute to read over that. Which of the subjects on those blocks is most important to you? Out of like health, friends, career, like which of those do you think is highest on your priorities?
I mean, maybe not the most important in the grand scheme of things, but definitely most immediate for me would be safety. Just because that's something that can be immediately affected by not knowing your limit. I think if we're talking long-term, family for sure, but more immediate, urgent would be safety.
Anybody else?
I agree with what she said, 7. And one thing that I did notice up there, it wouldn't be something that like I think of, but in the grand scheme would be like health. Like when you're like drinking and stuff, like you don't think about like how bad it is for like your liver, how bad it is for you, like the calorie intake and everything. So seeing that up there just kind of like reminded me, I guess, that like that is a factor when it comes to.
So like out of all of those factors, how does that kind of play a part in where you choose to drink or how much you choose to drink or like what you choose to drink? Just kind of like you said, some of you said safety, like how does that affect your drinking habits? Or if you say health or respect, like how does that kind of factor into your choice on how much to drink?
If I'm gonna have more than 2 or 3, I want to be somewhere where I know the environment, not in a public place. I would prefer to be at a friend's house or just somewhere where I know the people who are there and I know that like it's like strangers aren't coming in and out kind of place.
5, yeah, like if I say I'm like gonna get trashed tonight, I would rather be with just like my close friends. I would not wanna be like at some random party or anything. Like, I wanna probably be in my own house where I can get to my bed and be with my friends.
That's it. Do you guys have any like final thoughts on the matter of stuff that like, I guess, out of all the PSAs, like if we didn't have one on here that you know of like a specific like commercial or something you've seen about binge drinking and consequences that you thought was really neat? Any thoughts or what made it really neat or something that could be done that you would feel it's like, hey, that's pretty cool, I'm gonna kind of consider that next time I go out. Okay, if you guys wanna, out of all of them, which one do you guys like the most, out of all the ones that you saw? Six.
I think I like the first one the best, and I've seen a lot of different ones over the years, and that one I haven't really seen before, and I thought it was interesting the way they portrayed it.
Anybody else? Or like video versus picture preference?
I think that the picture ones, a lot of the time, they're more humorous, and it's just like, catch your attention, like right then and there. And then, I think it's good to have like the more serious ones, like when she talked about the first one, having them be the video, because you can kind of get a lot more from a video, and like kind of like really like feel like they're paying attention or something like that.
Anything else? Last thoughts? No? Okay, well, thank you guys for coming. Feel free to grab more like ice cream or cookies and stuff. If you want to pass it to the store, I can grab them. Does anybody need extra credit or anything for their class?
I don't know.
Just a slip.
It's only on the